Namaste everyone. I hope all of your chakras are aligned, because if you're not, then you should align them now really quickly so that you get ready for this controversial topic, which is 432 Hertz actually better than 440 Hertz? And I would argue yes, and I will show you why. I will start off this topic in a very simple way, which is asking you what sounds better, this?
I am just a voice and I make a lot of noise. Listen up and let me show you what I mean.
Or this?
I am just a voice and I make a lot of noise. Listen up and let me show you what I mean.
Most people I showed these two versions of the same track liked the lower pitched one more, and I think that's for a good reason. It just sounds more chill, it has less refined transients but also fatter ones. Generally it is less energetic and more chill, so you can't really argue against that, except if you're really just such a fan of nightcore that you just can't stand slow beats. So how did I even get there, you might ask? First of all, I imported the beat that I exported from this project into a new project. I will just do that in the same project now so that you can see that. That sounds like this. Oh, that doesn't sound quite like it should, because the default mode is elastic, so we change it to repitch, because in Bitwig that is the mode that lets you resample the audio in a way where tempo changes are also pitch changes. How does that sound? That is even faster than the original track, and you might wonder why. The reason is, when you're importing audio into Bitwig, then it guesses what the BPM is like, and here it guessed it would be 91.01, so we changed that to 136. Let's play that back. Now that sounds exactly like the track. So now we still have to double click on this audio event to go inside it and drag out this marker here, and also this one sometimes, but not this time. And then we can drag out this so that we can actually have the full track. Don't ask me why we have to do that. I have asked Bitwig support to change that because it's super annoying that you have to do that every time. I don't see what kind of workflow that should enable me to have, except that importing sound always takes a little longer than it should. But okay, the Bitwig support doesn't seem to be a very big fan of my suggestions, so it's their own problem, I guess. Now that we have the full track here, we can actually start working with it. And now I can just test different tempos by dragging the tempo slider while playing it back.
And let me show you what I mean. Can you hear the sound, the vibrations in the air, the vibrations in the air, from the sky to the floor. I'll be there for you.
Now, contrary to what you might expect when you are going down with the tempo in the text field, it actually gets faster. But that makes sense because the tempo text field doesn't describe the destination tempo of the track, but what you define the source tempo to be. So it's kind of obvious that this makes the thing act the other way around. Now I want you to listen and compare the faster with the next slower BPM all the time.
I am just a voice and I make a lot of noise. Listen up and let me show you what I mean. Can you hear the sound, the vibrations in the air, from the sky to the floor? You can feel it everywhere. Let me turn it up a little bit more. It's okay. Yeah. I'll be there for you. They can't even read.
I don't know how you feel, but I feel like every time I've made it slightly slower, it became a little bit more chill and even better. You have to actually go pretty far with the tempo parameter, pretty slow, until it gets to a point where it doesn't get better anymore, because at that point it is just super sloppy.
I am just a voice and I make a lot of noise. Listen up.
And even that speed sounds still pretty usable, at least for some sort of vaporwave context. So what does that have to do with 432 Hertz vs 440 Hertz? The thing is, people who believe in 432 Hertz are usually having the following process. They import some song that already exists in 440 Hertz into Audacity, and then they use some formula that they found on the internet to convert it to 432 Hertz with resampling algorithm. And it got a little bit slower and a little bit pitched down, and also all of the performance of the sounds changed a little bit. You know, the color of every instrument kind of changes when you are pitching it down. It's not like you hear the same kind of vocal part as before, but the vocals sound entirely different, and the same can be said about all of the other instruments as well. It's just that the human ear is most sensitive for vocals, so that it becomes very obvious. And then they experience the same thing as we experience when we are just casually changing the tempo of a song without putting it on exactly 432 Hertz, but just pitching it down in any arbitrary way. And that's why they come to the conclusion that 432 Hertz actually sounds better than 440 Hertz. And that's why 432 Hertz is objectively better than 440 Hertz, because it is very unlikely that you will run into a song that you cannot pitch down a little bit without making it at least slightly cooler in terms of sound character. You will probably be successful with most tracks. That's the entire reason why Vaporwave exists, so it can't be wrong, right? Now, if you visited this video as a true diehard 432 Hertz fan and you expected me to give you a scientific proof for why 440 Hertz is the frequency of the devil, then sorry that I had to disappoint you. It is just that the thing that you experienced, it does make a lot of sense, and it makes sense that you came to the conclusion that you came to, but you have to see that the reason why you made this experience is a little bit different than what you thought. And if you came to this video without being a 432 fan already, then I hope that you gained a little bit more of an understanding why these people came to the conclusions that they came to, and you know, don't spread so much hatred for them. They just don't know a lot about audio, so they come to weird conclusions. That is the function that I had in mind for this video. I want to unite spiritual people with not so spiritual people and make sure that they understand each other a little bit more.